I'm just gonna say it. This brand new Lexus LC 500 is the best looking, dare I say, the sexiest car of the decade. But because maybe I'm swayed by a topless beauty, we need somebody with a little bit more perspective to help out with this review. Would that be you, Tommy?
That was a little cringy hearing that from your dad.
I'm sorry, dude. I just am completely smitten by the look of this car, so I think we're gonna have to do this together because otherwise I'll be drooling all over it during this review.
I'm curious what you guys think of the overall design of this Lexus LC. Leave me a comment in the section below because my dad is certainly in love with it. But we're gonna go over all the really cool things that make this new Lexus special, starting with the convertible roof, because this is a brand new model that Lexus has just introduced on the LC. And let's see how it operates. First of all, I gotta show you the switch panel because it's actually very hidden. It took me a long time to find the switch that operates the convertible top because it's hidden in the LC. At first, I thought it might be here in the center of the vehicle or maybe to the left of the steering wheel, but it's actually hidden underneath this little flap. It's not labeled at all, you just gotta know. And you lift it up and bam, there you go, this elegant little switch. And to fold the top up, I push it forward. To fold the top down, I push it backward. And take a look at its operation.
You know, great design is both complicated and simple at the same time. And that is so true of the grille of this new convertible. Let me show you what I mean. The Lexus logo is basically, let's call it a 60-degree angle. And you'll see that this same angle is repeated over and over again at the front of this car. So you'll see it here, you'll see it there, you'll see it there, you'll see it there, you'll see it there, there. You'll see it in the little squiggly line below the headlight, and you'll actually see it in the headlight as well. And perhaps most interesting of all, you can see it in the grille where it's inverted or upside down right there, which then transitions into almost like a waterfall-like diamond plate at the top, where once again, 60-degree angle at the top. It's extremely complicated, and yet when you look at it, it completely works as one harmonious and beautiful grille.
This is what the key fob looks like on the new Lexus LC. It's very elegant, but one of the coolest features is what happens when you go to open the door, because when the vehicle is locked, as it is right now, the door handle retracts into the body. And then I can try to open it by pushing it on this little dots, but it just keeps sucking itself back in. It won't let me open the door until I go and unlock the vehicle. And then look at this, it extends just an inch or so, and then I can grab the bottom of it, open the door, with no problem whatsoever. And when I lock it, the door handle retracts, and then up here, take a look at this. Rather than having a little plunger, I just get this little green LED that lets me know the vehicle is locked.
So what do wheels and side mirrors have in common? In most cars, the answer is nothing. But in this Lexus, the designers actually combine the two in a very organic and I think beautiful way. So the wheel, of course, is this interesting mix of shiny, almost aluminum-like finish with a dark interior. And right now, blacked out wheels are very popular, and to combine the two is unique in itself. But come over here, check this out. You'll see that same shiny chrome and black echoed in the rearview mirror. So when you look at the two, with the wheel pointing out and the rearview mirror pointing out, you'll see that there's this natural balance and symmetry between the wheel and the rearview mirror. Plus they put this really beautiful little strip in here which lights up at night. And when you look at it, once again, as a whole, it just works. And this is why I think this car is just so freaking beautiful.
Everything on the interior of the Lexus is extremely high quality. It's got a nice metallic finish on just about every touch point. And then you look at the quality of the leather and the perfection in the stitching. It's just beautifully made. But my favorite switches are down here in the center of the vehicle. The volume control in particular is really nice. So you've got this little ring around the outside of the volume control, and that is what actually adjusts the sound that comes out of the speakers. But notice the center power button doesn't actually move when you adjust the volume. How cool is that? And then you've got your seek switch, which is this little, well, I don't know how to describe it, pokey toggle is what I'm going for, as well as this little tune dial in the same textured finish. This is a really nice touch because these are switches and controls that you end up touching a lot when you drive the Lexus, so it's nice having a really high quality finish on all of these. The center screen in the Lexus is not a touch screen, it's all controlled via this little pad down here in the center of the vehicle, but my favorite feature within this system is actually in the climate controls. Now, you'll notice if I go into auto climate, you've got your fairly standard adjustments for temperature, and those are all displayed within the middle here. And then if I go into the seat controls, you can see I have cooled seats, heated seats, and a heated steering wheel as well, all controlled via the center IP. But two things you need to know about the system. Take a look at this. The headrests actually have little vents in them, which will blow boiling hot air is the only way to describe it on your neck if you're using the convertible in the cold. And then my favorite feature is something called the Lexus Climate Concierge, and this is an automatic system which will control the climate control, the heated steering wheel, and the heated seats to fit the temperature you set exactly right. So if I set it to, for example, 67, you can see an increase in the seat cooling and an increase in the fan that blows on my face, just so I don't have to adjust each individual setting myself.
This is a standard fuel filler cap on many cars that you will find in production today. It's kind of round and it covers up the hole where you put the gas. Pretty standard stuff, but come look at the Lexus. What makes this Lexus so sexy is that, at least in my mind, it has that classic Coke bottle shape. And you can see that right here because the designers have drawn this line that goes all the way across, and it's kind of hard to see, but it becomes more pronounced as it gets toward the rear wheels. And then of course that line cuts across the fuel filler cap and keeps going and hits the chrome bit at the back here. In order to do that, the fuel filler cap can't just be a flat surface. It has to follow the contours of the rest of the car, and that is not easy, and that is expensive. And that is really cool.
The LC500 convertible has a very interesting dashboard. It's not shaped like any other car. First of all, on the top of the dashboard, you have this curved area where you've got this backing behind the glass portion. It's a very almost artistic touch on the interior of this vehicle, having this really neat pattern behind glass. Below that, there's a flat surface, and right below the flat surface, there are two vents, air vents, that actually seem to point directly up, which is not all that helpful in a convertible. But funny enough, over here on the passenger side, there's also a third air vent that points directly at the passenger. And then in the middle, there's a fourth air vent that points at nobody. And then there's a fifth air vent on the far left side of the steering wheel. A lot of different air vents that point in all sorts of directions. There's even a glove box, albeit a very small glove box. There's this little strip of metallic finish here on the center. Push this button, and it glides down gently and reveals one of the smallest glove boxes I think I've ever seen. And speaking of cubbies that glide gently open, there's one here in the center. You push down on the switch and it reveals a perfectly square cup holder, which may not seem all that useful, and quite honestly I don't really think it is all that useful, although it is a great place to put your phone. And then when I push down again, it's got this soft close function. But check this out, when I open it up I can even hinge it to the side, but of course it hinges toward the driver.
Now, if this were a German convertible, I suspect that this exhaust chrome surround would be completely fake because, well, the exhaust would be pointing down. But Lexus actually did something better than that. They actually stuck the exhaust in the hole where it belongs. However, for some unbeknownst reason, they also put a fake one up here, maybe trying to echo the fact that this is a quad exhaust. But if you're paying attention, you'll note that that angle, that L angle, you'll see it right there, and you'll see it prominently echoed right there. Once again, a lot going on, but complicated yet simple.
The trunk of the LC 500 convertible is unsurprisingly quite small, just over 3 cubic feet, but one good factor back here is the top folds into the space in the middle of the vehicle so it doesn't take up any trunk space top, up, or down. Now back here I do have a bunch of things, including the wind deflector. Let me show you how this works. This lives back here, behind the front seats, and I fold it open like this. There's a couple little notches in the rear of the vehicle this slides into, and then the whole thing just folds into position and it's nice and secure. But check this out, there's even a little itty bitty tiny glass reflector behind the main one. So lots of wind arrow going on back here, so you've got a nice comfy ride as you cruise down the highway.
This, believe it or not, is a 4-seat convertible, and you may be thinking to yourself, what's the point of having 4 seats where the back seats are pretty much useless? And if you don't believe me, I think I'll have Tommy try to get back there. But there is means to Lexus's madness, and that is, I think from a design standpoint, having back seats actually is more proportional. It just seems more fitting. I think it also helps with insurance. And finally, Lexus did something interesting. They put their logo on the back of the seat, not for the back passenger, but if you're behind the Lexus, you'll prominently see that whoever's driving this sexy beast is in a Lexus.
Here we go, let's see if I can get into the back seat of the LC. So first thing I'm gonna do is unstrap the seat belt from the front seat using these little magnetic straps. And then I guess, oh, it doesn't slide forward automatically, so I'm gonna have to use a little seat adjuster. Yep, I got it, it's moving, thanks for the beep. All right, now slide in here. Oh no! Okay, Dad, you wanna push the seat control back?
Tell me when it hurts.
Yeah, it hurts. No, kidding. You can go back. Okay, that's good. That's good. It's no Suburban, if I'm being honest. But look at this, Dad. There is a speaker that projects music right into the middle of my back.
Yeah, there's also another one that projects music right into the back of your arm.
Yeah, so my backside is getting all the tunes it could ever want.
The thing about convertibles is they allow a lot of sun in the car, which is great unless you're trying to see your dashboard. And in this case, Lexus actually thought of that because you can see how deeply recessed all the instrumentation is and how far out this little ledge sticks, so that it creates a really nice shadow across all of your important information. And the same thing is once again echoed with this front binnacle. So while I am in 100% sunlight, all the stuff that I'm looking at is completely hidden in shade. And that is some thoughtful engineering.
To put the Lexus in drive, you actually have this little joystick, and I pull it to the left and down for drive, just to the left for neutral, and then up and forward for reverse. There's also a manual mode if you pull down, but check this out. The park is a button. I also have different drive modes in the Lexus, which I can control via this little antenna that sticks up by the speedometer and tachometer, and it changes the different views in the central gauge. Push in for normal.
You know, the way this car just sits on the road, the stance that it has, the design, it really almost doesn't matter what's under the hood. I mean, it could be a twin turbo, it could be a hybrid, hell, it could be a buff hamster on a big old hamster wheel. But it's better than that because it's a big old V8 that puts out 471 horsepower and 398 pound-foot of torque. And best of all, it's mated to a 10-speed, yep, 10-speed transmission. But you know what? It looks much better with the hood closed. Full disclosure, driving impressions are still embargoed and pricing has not been announced yet. But on the TFL scale of buy it, lease it, rent it, or forget it, buy it. What do you think, Tommy?
Absolutely. This car is going to be a classic one day. This is going to be one of those cars that you just see roll down Pebble Beach and just be amazed at its design and what they were able to do with the engineering. So definitely, if you have the means, it's going to be expensive, I think, but it's going to be worth it.
What's that yellow called?
Flare yellow. You have to get the flare yellow. That's like the #1 rule.
All right, guys, thanks for watching. And of course, go back to tflcar.com for more news, views, and sexy as you know what, Lexus convertible reviews. See you guys next time. Ciao.